going on YouTube? This is the Boxing Theorist, and for today's topic, I would like to talk about the showdown that's going down this Saturday between Sebastian Fundora and Erickson Lubin. All right, to get right into the character traits, Sebastian Fundora stands at 6'6", all right, with an 80-inch reach, and his record is 18-0 with one draw. Whereas you have Erickson Lubin, who's standing at 5'9.5" with a 74-inch reach, and his record being 24-1, with that one loss being to Jamel Charlo by a first round KO. Um, yeah, I mean, this is going to make up for a phenomenal fight because of the height and reach advantage. Um, Man, dude, when I tell you I love Erickson Lubin, that man's a phenomenal fighter. I love guys like him. I already said time and time again, it's just something about those guys who can be dual threats. And the guy who can fight on his back foot and control the ring. I mean, just control the ring. Being a ring general is nothing to me. Is nothing like watching that. You know what I mean? To get into the advantages of Erickson Lubin has phenomenal timing. He's an accurate puncher. He has power in both hands. Okay, he picks his shots well. Has good footwork. Can fight on his front foot and his back foot, both. Um, Man, I mean, speed is there. The man has everything going for him, which is why I said he has great talent. Um, but he's only a good fighter. Hasn't really risen to the right road. Has never rise to the occasion due to the fact that his biggest fight was against Jamel Charlo, and ever since then, he's been fighting like B-level fighters, but at the same time, those B-level fighters happen to be challenging enough to make me respect the fact that he's willing to take on a tough challenge. You know, as far as his disadvantages, the man can be chinny. He could be chinny. And he's been not only knocked out once with a flush uppercut, but from Jamel Charlo, but he's been rocked on on a few other occasions. He's been rocked bad, to where it really showed. You could tell that he was hurt. Some guys can max that, but his showed. So those are his disadvantages. He manages to get clipped from time to time, like most fighters, but his chin, that chin of his is not very strong. Okay. Now to get into Sebastian Fundora. Fundora is a hell of a fighter. All right. He has the reach advantage with them long, lanky arms of his. Okay. Sebastian Fundora, when he's at his strongest in about before he fades, okay, because he fades towards the middle to later rounds, but his endurance is good. All right, that's an advantage. He has good endurance. He has when he's fresh, he has a good jab. He can maintain his distance well. Okay. He can also string together combinations well, okay? And he lets his hands go. He's not afraid to let his hands go. Those advantages. To me, he has more disadvantages than advantages, okay? And some of those disadvantages being that he can fade. As I've already mentioned, he can fade, which allows his opponents to have an easier time to get inside and smother him, being the taller, lankier fighter. That reach, I mean, Sebastian has a habit of unnecessarily letting guys get too close and smother his punches, okay? Where he doesn't have to be there. Bro, I heard that his father, his trainer, was trying to get him to fight from long range, but it seems like he has a tough time maintaining that mess, man. He can get sloppy, you know. He could lose technique. Him being a taller guy, he has to punch down. Smaller guys, even like those C-level, B-level fighters that he fought, had an easy time working their way inside, slipping and rolling under those hooks and that jab that he has a habit of leaving out there to test the, to maintain the proper distance he needs to be effective, okay? He has a habit of leaving that jab out there to try to keep them at long range, to land. Rather, he doesn't always throw his, he spends more time pawing his jab out there than he does throwing his jab with bad intentions as to land and stabilize his opponents, as Teddy Atlas explained, okay? He always says that you have those fighters who paw their jab out there and they don't throw with bad intentions. I took that out of his book. Sebastian Fundora has a habit of doing that, and it makes it easy for those shorter guys to just work their way in and smother him, and that's to their advantage, okay? I think he fades, as I've already explained. He fades, and yeah, man, he gets another disadvantage is that he gets clipped a lot because they're able to get inside. He gets clipped a lot, man. His chin, he's taller, so his chin is exposed for those uppercuts that he takes on a consistent basis to the mid to later rounds. His body's susceptible to being hit at all times because he has to lower himself, his height. He has to stoop down to their level in order to avoid taking shots to the body. All right. He takes a lot of punishment there, which also helps him to fade. Yeah, man. I mean, Fundora's a good fighter, but he has a lot of flaws and defensively, and he gets exposed that way, which leads me to believe that guys like Lubin, guys like Brian Castano, guys like Jamel Charlo can outwork him and beat him, no matter his height. Height don't always matter. Sometimes it does, but it don't always matter. And I believe that we'll find that out Saturday when Lubin defeats him via decision. I believe that Lubin's going to beat him by decision. I can't see even though Lubin has power, phenomenal power and one punch KO power. I can't see Lubin knocking out Fundora because another strength of Fundora's is that I almost forgot to mention is that he has a good chin. He can endure a lot of punishment. He can take a lot of punishment, and yeah, Fundora is he has a lot of flaws to me, and I feel like a guy like Lubin, who's defensively sound, will exploit those slow punches coming from Fundora as well. That's another disadvantage of Fundora. His punches come off so slow, and it's easy. A guy with fast reflexes like Lubin can see all of those punches coming a mile away. And on top of that, Fundora has to punch down. So I can see Lubin, who's a good fighter on the inside. He's balanced. He's a balanced guy. He can fight on the outside and the inside. I can see him working his way in and doing some serious work to Fundora, punishing him to the body. And hell, I mean, another outcome I could see is Lubin. See, and another thing, Lubin can't afford to get hit by Fundora either. He can't afford to take any shots from Fundora because Fundora has power. He has power. I mean, I looked up on BoxRec that he had a unanimous decision during his last fight against Garcia. But prior to that, he was on a KO streak. So Lubin can't afford to get clipped by Fundora. He's going to have to stay sharp from round 1 all the way up until the fight ends, whenever that may be. So yeah, man, that's really all I got to say. I want to know what you guys think. Oh, and by the way, this is for a title eliminator. Whoever wins this fight will have a shot at the titles of whoever wins between Jermell Charlo and Brian Castano, which is another fight that I cannot wait to see. So, yeah, man, that's all I got to say. You know, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment below what you guys think. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Love y'all. Peace.